Now, when it comes to cutting around a column, there's actually a tool you can buy that can follow the shapes and contours of anything, a wall, something like a round column or anything you need to cut around, and they're very precise. And I don't have that today. I've been thinking of buying one, but if you don't have one, then what you'll have to do to make this job easier for you, you can actually sacrifice one short board, for example, like that one over there. So you can start saying your prayers and mantras or whatever you need, and it'll give up one board for the wood flooring gods. So you'll use this one board and you'll cut it around to follow the shape of the round columns. Then you'll have the exact radius around it. So it's not perfectly around, maybe in some areas, but it's gonna do a good job. So once you have it cut around, that's gonna follow the round column. Then you'll just have to cut out the plank that is gonna have to be sitting here. And what you do is you measure the distance from the center of the column here, and you put it on the plank that is gonna be sitting there. So let's say this is let's just measure it right now. So this is 10.5 centimeters long. So you will just take and measure your 10.5 centimeters out from the plank. Let's say this is the plank that is going to be here. Let's imagine it's longer. And you just put the mark, and then you put the plank that has already been pre-cut around, and then you just follow the same radius. And the reason why you don't leave an expansion gap straight away is if there is some unevenness in the round column, or if you make a mistake while cutting, your hand is shaking or whatever, then you still have room to come back and fix it instead of having to replace the whole board and do the same thing again. So leaving no expansion gap, you just trace it around the plank, and then once you put it closer, you can just take your pencil, lean it against the column, and then just follow the column and then mark out exactly how it is going on the plank, and then you'll have a perfect cut as long as you don't rush it. So this is one way you can do it, or you can just take out the plank, lean it against, and then make cuts, small cuts as long as it's going great, and then you'll just put it down. But when you have to cut around there, you'll have to do the same thing. And if you have a plank that already has the radius, then you just measure out the distance again. You turn it so that you can measure you just put the plank that has been cut already there on this one that's going to be going here, and then you just mark out the lines, the curvature, and then it's going to be much easier for you again. So that's why if you sacrifice one plank, you can make this whole job easier, and of course you won't be able to use it anywhere else. Yeah, so give one up for the wood flooring gods. So that's it, our pillar is fully finished now. I finished cutting everything around, everything is glued, and I had to remove the underside, this part here completely, because I wasn't able or didn't have enough space to lie the boards down flat and connect them with the tongue and groove system. So this was completely removed, the underside, and that's why I used glue. So everything is pressed now. Level is nice and flat, everything looks good, and the wood glue that I used from this yellow bottle, it dries quite fast. So after 20 or half an hour, everything is going to be stiff, and I can remove those two glue buckets. I've just put them down to weigh everything down, but they're both about 15 or 20 kilos each, so they're going to hold the boards now in place. So and I've put in these plastic pieces in here to press everything against from the window so that there's no gap. So this is now very safe. It's going to be just stay here for half an hour. I'll remove the buckets and we're good to go. Now some manufacturers, when they produce planks, you will see that in the packages you will get these short boards. So this is basically half the length of a full board, and I'm pretty sure to do this to save on materials. Now, as an installer, I don't really need those. If I need, I can cut a board in half myself, that's not a problem. But my recommendation is not to use those shorter boards in the middle of a big room like this, or basically anywhere where there's going to be a lot of traffic, a living area, or somebody that or a room where you'll be in often. And try to use those either at the beginnings or ends. And for example, in a space like this, I can use them here, and nobody will even know that this is half boards used. I'll just spread out the connections, and it will look nice, and I can do the same there. Now, I won't be able to use all of them in there. There'll still be too many left, and then there's two shorter boards in every package. So what I'll do is I'll install the room as much as I can with the full planks, and then if I have a little bit left, let's say from around here, I'll just finish off with those short boards. There's going to be a bed here. Either way, you won't see much of it. There might come a wardrobe for clothes down there. So this is not going to be seen so much. We'll still have full planks in the entrance. There's going to be full planks in the living room or the kitchen. And yeah. So when you get these short boards, don't mix them up in with the rest of the planks. You'll just create more joints, and it's not going to be a good look. Use them on beginnings or ends, or somewhere else where they can be used wisely. floor is finished. The installation process is done. It's looking very good. I'm actually very pleased as to how it turned out. Things like the pillar here. I think it's looking good. Now, all that is left to do is just to put a protective layer of hard wax on the oil. I have my polishing machine ready there. I'm gonna do that now. I won't be able to film this process, but if you have an oiled floor, it's good to actually polish it as soon as the job is finished, because then you'll add that extra protection. And usually when the floor is pre-finished from the factory, it has just one coat, at most 2 coats of oil. If it's lacquered, you don't need to do anything with it. And there's no furniture here, so this is the best time to do it. Just this is something that we do pretty much always. If the floor that we installed is oiled, we always polish it. And then we make sure it's protected against water spills and anything else that might happen. It just hardens the floor, and it's a good thing to do. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video, this process, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.